Young and the Restless weekly spoilers. Nate plays with fire. Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a nice day. Before we begin the video, please subscribe and give the video a thumbs up. Young and the Restless weekly spoilers find Nate Hastings tempted, and he could be running toward trouble during the week of July 1 to 5, 2024. Elsewhere, someone is on a mission and two people make a promise on Y&R. Take a look at the newest spoilers for the CBS daytime drama. Young and the Restless weekly spoilers. Nate Hastings under Audra's spell. Next week on Y&R, Nate Hastings sparks with Audra Charles. Indeed, Audra's had her eye on Nate for some time now, and there's always been a spark between them. But he was with Victoria Newman, and she was with Kyle Abbott and then Tucker McCall. But now they're both single, so they may finally act on their attraction to each other. However, Nate may be in over his head on Young and the Restless. Audra is ruthless and always has an agenda. So if he gets in too deep with her, he could end up getting burned. If he's not careful, she could double-cross him, break his heart, or both. Y&R weekly spoilers. Devin makes a vow. While Nate Hastings, seen Dominic, gets close to Audra Charles, Zalika Silver, his colleague, Devin Hamilton, Brayton James, makes a promise to himself. He's determined to preserve the legacy of his family. Soon, the Chancellor Winters team holds a meeting and votes on whether or not to demerge the two companies. Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson, thinks he's separating the companies to support his mom, Jill Abbott, Jess Walton. However, Jill is opposed to the demerger and votes against it next week on Young and the Restless. Also, Chancellor Connor Floyd has his doubts about Billy. Meanwhile, Summer Newman, Allison Lanier, turns to her parents Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, and Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, for help. Young and the Restless weekly spoilers. Chelsea and Adam make a deal. In other Y&R drama, Adam Newman, Mark Grossman, and Chelsea Lawson, Melissa Claire Egan, reflect on their past. Then they get carried away and end up kissing. Later, they make a vow, likely to pretend it never happened, and probably not to tell their significant others, Billy and Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope. Elsewhere, Victor Newman, Eric Braden, and Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, start a new battle. Then, Victor makes a deal with family traitor Kyle Abbott, Michael Mueller. Later, on Young and the Restless, Kyle must answer to his father about working for Victor. Elsewhere, Michael Baldwin, Christian Leblanc, opens up to Diane Jenkins, Susan Walters. Then, Diane must pay the consequences. Meanwhile, Abby Newman, Melissa Ordway, visits her mom, Ashley Abbott, Eileen Davidson in Paris. Also, Tracy Abbott, Beth Maitland, gets closer to Alan Laurent, Christopher Cousins, and they share a kiss. In addition, Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott, feels bad for complicating Jack's life. Y&R is explosive next week. Don't miss a minute to see if Nate Hastings gives in to his desire for Audra on the CBS Sudser. The Young and the Restless has always been a show filled with intrigue, passion, betrayal, and power plays. In Genoa City, no one is ever truly safe from the consequences of their actions, and one character who has recently been making waves is Nate Hastings, seen Dominic. With a sharp mind and a drive for success, Nate's rise to the top has come at a cost, and this week's spoilers suggest that he is about to play with fire in a way that could change the course of his future forever. Nate has always been a likable character, a talented surgeon with a compassionate heart, and someone who values his family and friends. However, as his professional career has evolved, so too has his ambition. His recent decisions, particularly his growing connection with Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinel, are beginning to blur the lines between professional ambition and personal betrayal. As Nate's actions come under scrutiny, it's clear that he's walking a dangerous tightrope between success and destruction. In this week's Young and the Restless spoilers, we explore the consequences of Nate's risky behavior his shifting relationships, and the possible fallout that could follow. Will Nate be able to navigate the delicate balance between his desires and his moral compass, or will he end up losing everything in the process? Nate's professional ambition, a dangerous gamble. For much of his time in Genoa City, Nate Hastings has been seen as a man of integrity, someone who cares deeply about his work as a surgeon and his connections with his family. However, his decision to leave the hospital and join the corporate world at Chancellor Winters, a move that initially seemed like a step toward broadening his career, has begun to reveal a darker side. Nate has slowly transformed from a selfless, caring doctor into a cutthroat and compromise his values in order to advance his career. In recent months, Nate has found himself caught between his loyalty to the Newman family, particularly Victoria, and his growing desire to climb the corporate ladder. His attraction to Victoria has been evident, and their partnership has sparked both intrigue and concern among viewers. While some may view their connection as the beginning of a powerful business alliance, others see it as a betrayal to his family, especially his cousin, Devin Hamilton, Brayton James. This week's spoilers tease that Nate is about to take things to the next level, and while his ambition may drive him forward, it could also be his undoing. His ongoing involvement with Victoria is about to put him in a precarious situation, and it's clear that he's playing with fire by aligning himself too closely with the Newmans. There's a significant risk that this path will alienate him from his family, particularly Devin, and may even destroy the promising career he once had as a respected physician. Nate and Victoria, a dangerous attraction. One of the key factors driving Nate's recent decisions is his growing attraction to Victoria Newman. Their connection started out professionally, with Nate becoming a key player in the expansion of the Newman Enterprises empire. However, their professional relationship soon crossed into more personal territory, and the sparks between them have been undeniable. Nate's involvement with Victoria has always been a delicate balance. On one hand, Victoria has been a supportive figure in his career, helping him establish his position within the business world. On the other hand, their shared moments of flirtation and emotional vulnerability have blurred the lines between business and pleasure. As their bond deepens, Nate's motivations become more complicated. His attraction to Victoria is not just physical but also emotional, as she represents the power and influence he craves. However, there is a significant problem. Nate's growing closeness to Victoria is beginning to cause tension between him and the people who matter most to him, his family. Devin, who once trusted Nate as both a cousin and a colleague, is now starting to feel betrayed. Nate's involvement with Victoria has created a wedge between the two men, and it's clear that this family conflict is about to reach a boiling point. Spoilers indicate that this week, Nate will face some tough decisions regarding his relationship with Victoria. As their professional partnership becomes more intimate, Nate will have to confront whether his personal desires are worth the risk of alienating his family and potentially losing his position at Chancellor Winters. Will Nate allow his feelings for Victoria to cloud his judgment, or will he choose to prioritize his family's trust over his career ambitions? Devin's growing suspicion, the breaking point. Nate's shift toward a more ruthless and ambitious version of himself has not gone unnoticed by his cousin, Devin Hamilton. As Devin watches Nate's rise within the ranks of Chancellor Winters, he becomes increasingly suspicious of Nate's true motivations. Devin is a man who values loyalty, especially within his family, and he's been growing increasingly concerned about the way Nate is handling his professional relationships. This week's spoilers hint that Devin is getting closer to uncovering the full extent of Nate's relationship with Victoria. Devin has always been a man of principle, and he's not one to take betrayal lightly. He's already faced several moments of tension with his family members, especially when it comes to business decisions. His partnership with Nate, which once seemed like a promising and mutually beneficial arrangement, is now on shaky ground. Devon's patience is wearing thin, and he's beginning to question whether Nate's loyalty lies with the family or with his own personal ambitions. This week, the situation is about to escalate. Devon will confront Nate about his involvement with Victoria, and the conversation is expected to be heated. The fallout from this confrontation could lead to a major rupture in their relationship, one that may be difficult to repair. If Nate cannot find a way to balance his growing ambition with his loyalty to Devon, he could find himself facing a devastating personal and professional loss. Nate's actions are about to come under intense scrutiny, and the consequences of his choices will be far-reaching. His career could be on the line, and his relationship with his family, especially with Devon, is at risk of falling apart. With so much at stake, Nate is playing a dangerous game, and the odds may not be in his favor. Nate's internal struggle: loyalty versus ambition. As the tension between Nate and his family grows, Nate finds himself torn between two competing forces and his growing ambition within the corporate world. For so long, Nate has been defined by his commitment to helping others as a surgeon, and his professional life was one of integrity and compassion. But as he becomes more involved in the cutthroat world of business, Nate is forced to confront the darker side of his personality. This internal struggle is one of the most compelling aspects of Nate's character. He is not a villain in the traditional sense, but he is certainly becoming more morally ambiguous as his career aspirations take precedence over his relationships. The allure of power and success, represented by Victoria and the Newman family, has begun to cloud Nate's judgment, and his personal connections are starting to unravel as a result. This week, spoilers suggest that Nate will have a moment of self-reflection. He will have to ask himself whether the career he's building is worth the emotional toll it's taking on his relationships. His loyalty to Devon, his family, and even his own sense of integrity will be tested, and it's unclear whether he will be able to maintain his moral compass, or if he will continue down a path that leads to greater conflict. As Nate grapples with his internal turmoil, he will also have to confront the reality that his actions are starting to have real-world consequences. The tension with Devon and the Newmans is only the beginning. If Nate cannot find a way to make amends, he could lose everything that matters to him. Victoria's role: a powerful ally or a dangerous influence? Victoria Newman's influence on Nate cannot be overstated. While their professional relationship began as a business partnership, it has clearly evolved into something more. Victoria's power, ambition, and seductive charm have drawn Nate into her orbit, and it's clear that she plays a pivotal role in his current trajectory. But what does Victoria really want from Nate? Is she genuinely invested in him as a partner, or is she using him to further her own agenda? As the spoilers suggest, Victoria's role in Nate's life is about to become even more complicated. She is a master manipulator who knows how to use her charm and influence to get what she wants. While she may genuinely care about Nate on some level, her primary focus is always on achieving her business goals. This could prove to be a dangerous dynamic for Nate, as he risks being caught in a web of manipulation that could jeopardize his personal and professional future. This week, viewers will see Victoria continue to pull strings behind the scenes, perhaps pushing Nate even further down a path of moral compromise. Her actions may lead Nate to question whether he is truly in control of his own fate, or if he is being used as a pawn in her larger game of corporate chess. The fallout: will Nate pay the price? As the week progresses, it becomes clear that Nate is playing with fire. His growing attachment to Victoria, his strained relationship with Devon, and his shift away from the man he once was are all leading toward a significant reckoning. Whether it's losing his family's trust, facing a professional setback, or making the choice that he'll regret forever, Nate's future is hanging in the balance. The spoilers for this week promise drama, conflict, and emotional turmoil as Nate's world begins to unravel. His rise to power may come at the cost of his integrity, and his most important relationships, and the fallout from his actions could be devastating. Will Nate be able to salvage his relationships and his career, or is he destined to fall from grace? In Genoa City, anything can happen, and no one is ever truly safe from the consequences of their choices. As Nate plays with fire, viewers are left wondering just how badly he will get burned. As The Young and the Restless unfolds, it becomes increasingly clear that Nate's decision to align himself so closely with the Newman family is both a professional asset and a potential personal liability. The Newmans, particularly Victor, Eric Braden, have long been known for their control over business dealings in Genoa City, and now that Nate has begun to integrate himself into their fold, his loyalty is being questioned, not just by his family, but also by those who wonder how far he's willing to go for success. In this week's spoilers, Nate's connection with Victoria grows even more pronounced, and viewers will see that the stakes have escalated. He is no longer just a consultant to the Newman family or a potential ally in business. Nate has crossed a threshold into the inner circle of the Newmans, a place where power and ambition rule, and where personal and professional boundaries often blur. The big question for Nate will be whether he can maintain his moral compass, or if he's willing to abandon his values in exchange for power, position, and influence. Victoria's influence on him, while effective, are often ruthless. She has made it clear that her goals are to dominate the corporate world, and she sees Nate as a powerful tool to achieve those objectives. However, what starts as a calculated professional move on Nate's part risks becoming a full-fledged emotional entanglement. The stakes couldn't be higher as he faces the possibility of losing himself in the pursuit of power. This week, spoilers reveal that Nate will be put to the test more than ever before. He will face a moment of reckoning when he is forced to choose between continuing to please Victoria and the Newman family or returning to his roots as a man of integrity. With tensions already running high, Nate could find himself facing a serious personal crisis, one that could define the trajectory of his character for months to come. Devon's increasing distrust, the catalyst for confrontation. Devon Hamilton has been one of Nate's strongest allies, but their relationship is rapidly deteriorating. Over the past few weeks, it's been clear that Devon's growing distrust of Nate's motives is not just based on his business dealings, but also on personal betrayal. Devon has always been protective of his family, and seeing Nate align himself with Victoria has made him question Nate's loyalty, not just to him, but to the values that once defined their bond. Spoilers for this week suggest that Devon will take a more active role in confronting Nate. This confrontation will not just be about business decisions, but will touch on personal matters as well. Devon will feel as though Nate has betrayed him on multiple fronts, and the fallout from this confrontation could shake the foundation of their relationship. As Devon makes his feelings clear, the stakes for Nate become even more pressing. The two cousins have always had a strong relationship, and their shared history is something that Nate values deeply. The idea of losing Devon's trust is devastating, but Nate's ambitions seem to outweigh his loyalty at this point. He is so focused on his future with Victoria and the Newmans that he risks alienating those who have supported him the most. This week's spoilers also tease that Devon will not be willing to back down. If anything, he's more determined than ever to protect his interests and to make sure Nate understands the cost of his actions. Will this confrontation mark the beginning of an irreparable rift between the cousins? Or will Nate finally realize that ambition isn't worth losing his family over? Nate's growing isolation. Will he push too far? One of the most intriguing aspects of Nate's character arc is how isolated he's becoming in his pursuit of power. While he has the Newmans supporting him, his estrangement from his family and friends is growing more pronounced. As his relationship with Victoria deepens, Nate's moral compass becomes more fluid, and the choices he makes are becoming more self-serving. This week's spoilers hint at Nate experiencing a moment of realization about how isolated he truly is. In the wake of his strained relationship with Devon, and the growing distance between him and his once close friends and family, Nate will be forced to confront the loneliness that often accompanies ambition. He may begin to understand that while he's achieved great success in the corporate world, he's losing something much more valuable: the trust and respect of those he cares about. This emotional isolation will undoubtedly come to a head in the coming weeks. As Nate wrestles with the consequences of his actions, viewers will see him grappling with the idea that, in order to achieve success, he might have sacrificed his own happiness. As much as he may enjoy the power and prestige that come with his new alliance with the Newmans, it's becoming increasingly clear that the price he's paying might be too high. The future of Chancellor Winters, a business battle brewing. Beyond Nate's personal and emotional struggles lies the looming question of what will become of Chancellor Winters. As the company continues to expand and grow, Nate's role within the organization is becoming increasingly important. However, his rising tensions with Devon and the presence of Victoria in the mix could put the future of the company in jeopardy. Spoilers reveal that this week, Chancellor Winters will face a significant business challenge, and Nate's role in this challenge will be a key factor in determining the company's fate. With the Newmans breathing down his neck and the ongoing friction between him and Devon, it seems likely that Nate will be forced to make a difficult choice between his ambitions and his familial ties. The conflict surrounding Chancellor Winters could soon become a full-blown business war. With the Newmans pushing for more influence and Devon increasingly resentful of Nate's involvement with them, the company's future may be at risk. Will Nate be able to maintain control of his career? Find himself caught in the crossfire of a business rivalry that he helped create? Victoria's manipulations, a calculated move or true feelings? Victoria Newman is no stranger to power plays, and her relationship with Nate is no exception. While their connection initially appeared to be purely business-driven, it's becoming clear that Victoria's feelings for Nate are not entirely professional. As she becomes more invested in him, the question remains whether her motives are pure or if she's simply using him as a pawn in her ongoing battle for corporate dominance. This week, spoilers suggest that Victoria may push Nate even further into the corporate spotlight, testing the boundaries of their relationship. Her manipulations, though subtle, will likely continue to exert pressure on Nate as he finds himself deeper and deeper involved in the Newmans' power games. As Victoria becomes more emotionally involved with Nate, the risks for him increase. It's possible that she will use her growing affection for Nate to further her own goals, creating a situation where Nate will be forced to choose between his career and his integrity. The allure of power is strong, but Victoria's influence could come at a steep cost, one that Nate may not be fully prepared to pay. Is there redemption for Nate? Despite all the betrayals, power struggles, and emotional turmoil, one of the most compelling aspects of Nate's storyline is the potential for redemption. Though he may have made questionable choices, viewers have always seen a man beneath the ambition, someone who was once driven by a desire to help others. Will Nate be able to find his way back to his roots, or will his ambition be his undoing? This week's spoilers leave the door open for a potential shift in Nate's character. As he faces the consequences of his actions, there's still room for him to learn from his mistakes and find a way to reconcile with his family. Will he be able to regain Devon's trust? Will he be able to mend the broken relationships he's caused? Only time will tell. In summary, the road ahead for Nate. As Nate continues to navigate the turbulent waters of ambition, loyalty, and personal conflict, the stakes have never been higher. His involvement with Victoria and the Newmans is leading him down a path that could either bring him great success or leave him with nothing but the ruins of his relationships. The next few weeks on The Young and the Restless promise to be filled with tension, heartache, and high-stakes drama as Nate plays with fire. testing the limits of his loyalty, ambition, and heart. The question on everyone's mind is, will Nate burn out, or will he find a way to rise from the ashes and reclaim what matters most? It's a thrilling ride that promises plenty of twists, and the answer may surprise us all. This continuation expands on the themes of Nate's evolving storyline, exploring both his personal and professional struggles while highlighting the key characters involved in the drama. Let me know if you'd like to dive deeper into any particular plot point.